We blew the budget. If you're new here, my name is Shauna. We're a homeschooling family of 4. We love homeschool. We choose secular curriculum. And you can hear my robot vacuum. And we love to travel. We recently took a 10-day vacation to London. And today we are discussing the budget and the trip recap. Here we go. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. If you recall, I do have a video when we booked things, most everything, ahead of time, and I let you know what our intent was. So just a little backstory. Family of 4. Husband, wife, 11 7-year-old girls. 10 days, London vacation, but really the first day and the last day of travel, so it doesn't quite count, like 8 days on the ground. Staying at a value hotel. We did not check any bags, so we did strictly carry on. And let's see, we had grandparents in tow, but they took care of their own stuff. And yeah, I think that's the only logistics you need. We went in January. So we traveled, we left January 26th and we returned home February 5th, which is the incredible off season because London schools, a lot of other places, they do a more year-round style-ish. So they do like midterm breaks, and their midterm break was gonna be like right after we got back or started when we got back. I don't remember, but it was like we were planning it around their breaks. The specific reason we chose this time is that it was the off season, and therefore we could get some really good deals on things. And one of the things that I feel like we got a really good deal on is we used our Southwest points to go from here to Miami to Heathrow. All 4 of us, round trip was only $17.80 for flights, for international flights. So I thought that was really good. We booked through Air France, but Air France, KLM, Delta, and Virgin Atlantic all operate under the same kind of umbrella, and it was a Virgin Atlantic flight. So for that, I thought it was good. Before we left, we had paid for all of our hotel. We stayed at Premier Inn, which is, I mean, it's like a La Quinta, I guess, for lack of a better term. It's like a, oh gosh, what are they called? The Days Inn, what are the Good Choice Hotels? I think it's Good Choice Hotels. That kind of level of hotel. And we stayed in one hotel from arrival until the night before we left. So like 2 nights before, in one hotel in the city center, right by the London Eye, opposite, across the river from Big Ben in County Hall. So fantastic location. And then the last night we transferred to a hotel that was literally connected to Heathrow Airport by a enclosed walkway. So for that last night, we did not include breakfast because we had to be in the airport before they would have started. But the rest of the time we did go ahead and include breakfast. So if we paid for my husband and myself, the kids were included. So that was all paid ahead of time. We did choose, and I'll talk about this more in a minute, to purchase a London pass, which is like an attractions pass, where you pay a smaller fee than it would cost you to do all the things. You Go City Pass, all that stuff. If you're familiar with any of those, it's the same deal, but for London. We also, ahead of time, purchased our transportation as much as we could. So we knew we were going to use mass transit the entire time we were there. We didn't Uber, we didn't taxi, we didn't do any of that. We did overground, underground trains. So we booked ahead of time. If you book 90 days in advance, you save money on your Heathrow Express, which we only did one way. We booked ahead of time. We paid, I think, £30 to get a friends and family discount card for the National Rail, which again, if you book those ahead of time, you save money. So we did all of that, saved money that way. We booked any of our specific tours ahead of time, which didn't necessarily save us money, but was already booked. So before we left, we had spent $44.64.38. And that covered all of those things I've just mentioned, okay? So what we didn't have, including our parking at the airport, it didn't include our guinea sitter. I should probably factor that in, but I'm not gonna. But all of that was done ahead of time, okay? So it didn't include souvenirs, which I never factored into any budget ever because we were traveling carry-ons. You can't do a lot with that. Plus I didn't intend to buy much of anything. So it didn't factor in souvenirs. It didn't factor in food, which we did have a little bit of a look at, and I'll talk about in a minute, or our transportation on the ground. So like tube tickets, things like that. I expected, because we were at 44, I expected to be somewhere about $6,000 total all in. That was my expectation. That is not what happened. We had figured that our transportation costs on the ground would be about $150, and they came out to like $220. Not crazy. I don't think it's that bad. It's not like we were like die hard, hard and fast trying to budget. Had we done that, I'm sure we could have easily hit $6,000. But we almost like, I'm still very conservative in my spending, but like for me, it was almost like YOLO. So like every time I'd stop for a coffee, kids got hot chocolate. So we did, in that respect, we did go a little bit overboard. So like transportation costs, there's not a lot you can do about that unless you just don't go places. We did go ahead and get a travel card, which gave us a discount for 7 days of the trip. We got our kids, our 11-year-old needed a tube ticket. The 7-year-old was free on the tube, but it gave her like a 50% off fares discount. So we did do a lot of things to save money. It just didn't come out the way that we thought it would. It was different in practice. I did spend about $150 on souvenirs, which was a Christmas ornament, a gift for my mother, and pictures, novelty pictures. So all the pictures at Warner Brothers Studios and the pictures at our Sherlock game. So that just was what it was. And then food. I was thinking food might be around $1,500. And again, we could have done that. However, food was just, food was just over $2,000. So it was $2,015.80. Now, again, if I took out just the coffees and the hot chocolates, y'all, it probably would be like $1,000. I bought at least a coffee every day because, and I'm not a coffee snob, I'd have coffee at breakfast. It was cold, so we had coffees and hot chocolates, we did. And my in-laws were with us, and I think that led us to do a little less like food stand food, which was what I had anticipated a lot more of because it's what I wanted, and a little more kind of full sit-down food. Now, we didn't eat at like a restaurant, probably. We did eat at more like attraction cafes than I expected. I didn't expect to eat at the British Museum. But I didn't feel like any of the prices were wildly out of whack. I just didn't. It's just one of those things. It just added up. So when we bought ice cream, it factors in. When we're buying hot chocolates, it factors in. Again, we easily could have trimmed that back significantly, but we didn't. And I'm at peace with it. So our all-in total was not $6,000. It was $6,849.88. So we did go over, but again, $150 in souvenirs that I wasn't anticipating. Our travel costs were a little more, and we YOLO'd a bit on the food. So like every time we sat down in a pub to eat, my husband and I both enjoyed a pint, and it was fun, and we enjoyed it, and we loved it, and we had an amazing trip. So do I regret it? No. Is it a little more than I thought we would spend? Yes. Was I like hard and fast I needed to stick to a number? No, or else we would have stuck to that number. And it just worked out a little differently than I thought it would. And I'm okay with that, and I'm at peace with that. So I was thinking it'd be all in $6,000, but really it was all in $6,850. So, I think if we factored it out, because I love to do vacation value this way, where it's like, okay, something else that I was not anticipating. We went into Miami and out of Miami. Both times we managed to buy in different disguised locations pizza that was the absolute worst and cost us $100 each time. So that was wild to me. The amount of money that we spent in the Miami airport, I did not factor in, and also was just horrible and grossly overpriced. I hated the Miami airport. They do have a nice play area. Other than that, it was garbage. It was dirty. It was dated. It was unclean. Almost every reasonable option was closed down. There wasn't great food options. There wasn't great shopping options. I didn't love it. I really, really didn't love it. And my standards are not high for airports. I've gone in and out of Newark, okay? My standards are not high. This just was particularly bad, and I did not care for it at all. And I found it to be wicked, wicked expensive for no reason. And I mean, I know airports are already like, you know, you're spending like $6 on a bag of candy. I get that. But this I felt like was extra above and beyond. Won't do it again. If I have a choice, I'm not going, you know. And again, we just did it because the schedule worked out with flying separately from the East Coast, whatever. But I was not factoring in or expecting to spend $200 in crappy Miami airport food. It just, it was bad. It was not good. Plus, it was like wicked jam-packed in the terminal that we were in. However, the terminal that we went to go to the play area was like flippin' ghost town. There was nowhere to sit. It was incredibly ineffective. It smelled terrible. Again, I swear it was built in like 1905. I have feelings about Miami. So that, if you, I don't know, if that offends you, I'm sorry, but it's true. It is that was my experience. That was my real life lived experience. So again, we easily could have stuck to a budget had we needed to stick to a budget, but there was no part of me, especially, and I thought that this trip would be like, not relaxing, but like more chill than most of our vacations because so many things didn't open till like 10 and so many things were closed by 6. Can I please tell you, we were still cranking out 20,000 plus step days. 20,000 plus steps, that's a Disney day, man. And stairs, which stairs, I mean, like, of course there's stairs everywhere, right? Like going in and out of the tube stations, all that, fine, yeah, okay. But I'm talking about the things where like, we went up the monument and I walked and I walked and I walked and I walked and it's like these, walked and I walked and I walked and I walked and they give you a certificate for doing the stairs. Don't you know it's a lot of stairs? And then I was like, well, this was wild and crazy. I did not know that it was merely training for the next day when we did St. Paul's. And we get to like the first rung and my daughter, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna lie your face right now and tell you I don't know where she got this because it's definitely not from me. But she looks at me and she's like, what if we never come back? Don't you want to be able to say that you've done this? What if you never get another opportunity? I don't know where she got that. It's definitely not me. Anyways, so then we climbed a million more stairs and we went outside and my husband was sad and was crouching and think, but it was cool. Okay, so that was the budget. I was expecting like 6 and it was like $68.50 is what it is. Now, if you want to know, we did a thing called the London Pass. Now, for the London Pass, we actually bought it on a discount through something, it's Plum Benefits, like Tickets at Work. So always shop that. Shop Sam's Club, Costco Travel, things like that. For anything like this, tickets, you can absolutely get amazing deals that you didn't know you could get. That's actually how we got such an amazing deal on our flights. But our London Pass for 4 of them, so 2 adults and 2 children, and it's like an attraction pass. They have 2 different options. There's the London Pass, and then I think there's like an Explorer, there's something else. One of them is like by days. So as many of these things you can shove in to X amount of days that you've paid for, you're welcome to do it, which is the one we did. There's another one that is like an attraction pass. So it's like 3 attractions or 7 attractions, and then you can only do those things. So we did the one by days and we grouped them together. We did a 3-day pass. So our 3-day pass, we used it, first of all, we paid $451.13. There are a few things on the pass that you can make reservations ahead of time for example, like the Shard. Now, we paid $451.13. In 3 days, we used it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We used it for 10 different attractions in those 3 days. So we paid $451, but the value, because I did go through and figure out how much it would have cost my family of 4 to do these things had we paid for it out of pocket, that would have been $997.54. Now you may think, Shawnee, you're crazy, but this is literally how I plan a vacation. Let me show you. We sat down and we figured out every single thing that we would want to do, what the cost was, which passes had it available, because there's several different pass options and which one was going to save us the most amount of money, and then we did it. So for example, Windsor is available on that pass. We easily could have done that. However, the entrance is later. We would have had to add a day, and I didn't want to go late. So we did that separately. We still saved over half of the amount of money. So that for me is amazing. So I guess we saved over 100% because what we paid, we easily could have doubled in what we would have spent without it. So that is amazing. There also are a couple of things that we did, like the Uber boat, just because it was on the pass and we had a few extra minutes. So we did do a little more maybe because it was on the pass. However, it was amazing. It was a great deal. It was so easy to use. They have an app. And on their website, you can see what all is available. And then it tells you if you click on it on the app, which my husband showed the app just on his phone of our QR codes, so easy. But it will tell you what you need to book and do ahead of time. So that. Where we stayed, Premier Inn, was amazing. The first one. The second one was great, was nice, was a new hotel. But our room was like a third of the size. So it's like, had we been in that room the whole time, I think it would have been hard. We had the best vacation. We did so much. We got so much done. We did zoos and playgrounds and parks and rode on double-decker buses and went to the Disney store and the Lego store and got to go ride a broomstick at Warner Brothers Studios. We saw 1,000-year-old buildings and ancient ruins. And the things that we did on this vacation, I know that this was truly one of those key points in our family's history, in our lives, that this is going to sit with all of us forever. And my youngest, she doesn't even really remember our Paris vacation because she was 3. So this, I know, is going to be that first big European vacation that she can really remember. Are there things that I would have done differently? Yes, of course. Are there things where it's like, man, it would have been great to get over there and do that? Yes, of course. But I feel so good. I don't feel like I have any really like regrets. There are a lot of things that I feel like we did really, really well for this vacation, and things that I know, lessons we learned that we're gonna carry forward. So now I just have to figure out what's next, because I don't know, but I'm excited. We had the best time. It truly was it was such a good vacation. It was wonderful family time. We got to spend it together. I'm so thankful. We did some amazing and wild things. The Sherlock escape room was so good. It was so good. It was such an amazing experience, and I'm so thankful for it. And the food was good, and the science tea was good, and we had the best time. So yes, we went a little over what I thought we would spend. I'm not sad about it. Some of that hot chocolate was like wicked good. Okay, I had a Biscoff ice cream cone. Oh, so good. So good. I'm so thankful. So glad we got to do it. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for listening to all these videos that turned out to be way longer than I thought that they would. Let me know if you want any information about anything. Anything at all, literally any travel question, any research question, any specific attraction question, anything at all, anything about travel, anything about homeschool, anything. What do you want to know? I've had lots of people ask me what my eyeshadow color is. Anything, let me know. I am so happy to share. I'm so thankful for you. Thanks for coming back. Guys, that's it. That's the recap of our London vacation. It was amazing. I had the best time. And this counts for, this is what I told my husband. I'm turning 40 this year, and for my 40th birthday, I was like, I want to go back to Europe. And so this kind of is how this whole thing started. So yes, it's only about 4 months early, but it counts. Because that's when I could save money. And I really like to save money, which is good because apparently I really like to spend money. Naturally, there is something I forgot that I wanted to say. We did travel exclusively public transportation. Something that we did both with my children and then with my in-laws, because this was their first trip doing, we did a little when we did our Canadian cruise, but this is their first trip really doing mass transit to this extent. Something that we did that I think is very helpful is we had a plan, a train plan. So we looked everyone in the face. What do you do if you don't make it off the train when everyone else does? Okay, so we told them, if you are the last person on the train and everyone else has gotten off and you've missed it somehow, go to the next stop and get off the train. One of us will get on the train, go to the next stop and get you, okay? We have a plan. It's very important to always have, and I do try to do this everywhere we go. Everybody knows what the plan is, okay? How do you behave? What do you do in case of emergency? And something else, like what happens if you get off the train but no one else gets off the train? You sit down and stay there. We will come back for you. So don't forget to let everyone know what the plan is in the event something happens. And again, we did this with both my children, my husband and I. Everybody heard what the plan was, so everyone knew. If you're the only one on the train, get off at the next stop. If you're the only one who got off the train, stay. Everyone knew the plan. It's important. So just my last little tip, little fun fact for travel, have a plan. Tell people the plan, make sure everyone knows the plan, and then rarely will you ever need it. But if something happens, it'll go to plan, okay? Okay. I found more stuff I want to say. I know you're so shocked. London is so incredibly family friendly. I don't know that I was expecting that. Everywhere we went, people were so incredibly kind and gracious and generous to our children, literally everywhere we went. Tons of times we'd go in a place, they'd be instantly handed an activity book and a pencil of some kind or a crown. Everybody talked to them, engaged with them, which my little one hated because she doesn't want to talk to people, but it was amazing. It's so incredibly family friendly. Even the things that you might think wouldn't be for kids, which has never once stopped us from taking them anywhere. Everyone was kind, allowed them to get up front, explained to them what was going on, gave them something to entertain themselves or do, or dressed them or took care of them, or made sure they had got up and gave them spots to sit on the trains. Like, so incredibly family friendly. Oh, so good. This was definitely the right decision as far as travel goes for kind of starting more European vacations for our family. So good. Loved it so much. So good. So family friendly, so incredibly inclusive and good and wonderful for children and families. I hope that you found it was helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. I'm happy to share more. I will be sharing more on Instagram. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know. Bye, guys.